When Deathworlders answer the call, the stars tremble. Part 2. The 3 Earth ships moved into defensive positions around the Ailuri space station. The Corax vessels, 8 in total, turned their attention from the station to the newcomers. "They're scanning us," reported Susan from her station. "Trying to figure out what we are." Admiral Nelson nodded. "Let them look. In the meantime, I want to know more about who we're defending and who we're fighting. Get me a secure channel to the Ailuri station." Within minutes, the blue-skinned Ambassador Neri appeared on screen again. Up close, Lisa could see that the alien had no hair, 4-fingered hands, and skin that seemed to shimmer slightly in the light. "We are grateful for your assistance," Neri said, her large eyes blinking slowly. "But I must warn you, the Corax are dangerous. They have already destroyed 4 of our defense ships." "We understand the risks," Admiral Nelson replied. "Can you tell us more about your situation? Why are the Corax attacking you?" Neri's expression changed to something that might have been sadness. "They want our quantum-fold technology, the same technology that allowed you to reach us so quickly. The Corax are conquerors who take what they want by force." While they talked, Dr. Morris was monitoring data from the ship's sensors. He suddenly turned to Admiral Nelson with wide eyes. "Sir, you need to see this," he said, sending information to the main screen. Atmospheric readings from both the Ailuri station and the Corax ships. The screen displayed a breakdown of gases. Lisa didn't understand what had surprised Dr. Morris until he highlighted one line. "They're breathing an atmosphere with almost no oxygen," he explained, "and the gravity on their ships is approximately 1/3 of Earth normal." Captain Rogers frowned. "What are you saying, Doctor?" "I'm saying that by their standards, we're the strange ones," Morris replied. "Our ships must seem bizarre to them. We breathe what would be toxic levels of oxygen for them, and we live in what they would. Consider crushing gravity." The implications of this sank in around the bridge. Humans had spent centuries wondering if they would be the primitive ones when they finally met aliens. No one had considered the opposite might be true. A new signal came in from the Corax flagship. The mantis-like commander appeared, mandibles clicking in what seemed to be agitation. "We have scanned your vessels. Your life support systems indicate an impossible environment. Explain yourselves." Admiral Nelson stood tall. "This is a normal atmosphere for my species. We come from a world you might find challenging." "The Corax." Commander made a sound that the translation software couldn't interpret. "It does not matter. Leave now or be destroyed with the Ailuri." In response, Nelson ordered, "Red alert, shields up." He turned to his weapons officer. "Target their weapon systems only. I want to disable, not destroy." The Corax, apparently tired of talking, fired first. Energy beams lanced out from 2 of their ships, striking the USS Intrepid's shields. "Shields holding at 82%, reported Security Chief Diaz. "Their weapons are powerful, but not as strong as we expected." "Return fire," ordered Admiral Nelson. "Show them we're serious." The Earth ships fired their laser batteries. The energy weapons cut through the Corax shields more easily than expected, disabling the weapon systems on 2 enemy vessels. "Their hull is less dense than ours," reported Chief Engineer Fred Parker. "Their shields aren't designed to handle our weapon frequencies." The Corax responded by concentrating fire on the smallest Earth ship, the Guardian. Its shields flared brightly, before failing. "The Guardian's hit," Lisa called out. "They've lost shields and have hull breaches on 2 decks. "Move us between the Guardian and the Corax," ordered Captain Rogers. "Susan, tell the Guardian to pull back and make repairs." The battle continued for nearly an hour. The Earth ships proved more durable than their opponents, but the Corax had numbers on their side. 2 more enemy ships joined the battle, emerging from behind one of Tau Ceti's planets. "We need to change tactics," Admiral Nelson said, studying the battle display. "Lisa, Susan, I need volunteers for a boarding party." The 2 women exchanged glances. "Boarding party, sir?" Lisa asked. "The Corax flagship is controlling the others. If we can get aboard and disable their command center, we might end this fight without destroying them all." Within minutes, Lisa found herself in the ship's armory with Susan and 8 Marines. They put on light combat armor and checked their weapons. Remember, we don't know how they'll react to us, Lisa told the team. We may seem as alien to them as they do to us. The Marine Sergeant, a woman named Kate Lopez, nodded. We'll use stun settings unless absolutely necessary. They boarded a small, fast shuttle. As it launched from the Intrepid, 2 Earthships provided covering fire, drawing the Corax's attention away from the approaching shuttle. Approaching their hull, reported the pilot. Their shield harmonics are fluctuating. We should be able to slip through now. The shuttle passed through a weak point in the Corax shields and attached itself to the alien ship's hull. Special cutting tools created an entrance, and the boarding party moved in. The interior of the Corax ship was strange. The corridors were wider and taller than needed for humans, and the lighting had a greenish tint that made it hard to see clearly. The air is breathable but thin, said Susan, checking her equipment. Gravity is much lighter than we're used to. Lisa felt it immediately. Her steps were too long, too bouncy. It was like moving in slow motion. Stay low and move carefully, she ordered. Follow the power signatures to their command center. They hadn't gone far when they encountered their first Corax. 3 of the mantis-like aliens came around a corner, each nearly 7 feet tall. They carried what looked like energy weapons. The aliens froze at the sight of the humans. One of them made a high-pitched sound and reached for a device on its wrist. Don't let it signal, Lisa shouted. Kate fired her stun weapon. The energy pulse hit the alien but seemed to have little effect. The other Marines fired as well, finally bringing down the 3 Corax after multiple hits. Their nervous system must be different, Susan said, examining one of the unconscious aliens. We need to increase the stun power. As they adjusted their weapons, an alarm began to sound throughout the ship. Deep, resonating tones echoed through the corridors. So much for surprise, Kate said. Now what? Lisa checked her tactical display. We keep going. The command center is 3 levels up. As they moved through the ship, they encountered more resistance. The Corax were clearly frightened of the humans, especially when they realized the boarding party could move quickly despite the different gravity. They've never seen anything like us, Susan observed after they stunned another group of defenders. Look at how they react when we run. They can't believe our speed. Finally, they reached the ship's command center. A dozen Corax, including the commander they had seen on the view screen, turned to face them with weapons drawn. Stop now, Earth creatures, the commander ordered, or we will destroy you. Lisa stepped forward, her weapon lowered slightly. Your shields are failing. Your weapons can't penetrate our largest ship's defenses. This fight is over. The commander's compound eyes seemed to study her. What are you? You move in our gravity as if you were made for something much harsher. We are, Lisa replied simply. And we didn't come here to fight you. We came to help people who asked for it. Lower your weapons, withdraw your ships, and we can all walk away from this. For a moment, she thought the alien would refuse. Then, slowly, it lowered its weapon. We will withdraw, it said. But know this. The galaxy will hear of what happened here today. They will hear of the creatures from the heavy world who breathe, poison, and move like predators. As the boarding party escorted the Corax commander back to their shuttle, Lisa couldn't help wondering what they had started. Humanity had answered a call for help, but in doing so, they had revealed themselves to a wider galaxy than they had ever imagined, and that galaxy was now watching. When Deathworlders answer the call, the stars tremble. The signal came on a Tuesday. At first, it was just a strange pattern of beeps and clicks that the computers on the USS Intrepid picked up. Lisa Warren was drinking her 3rd cup of coffee when the alert flashed on her screen. She'd been on duty for nearly 14 hours and her eyes burned from staring at monitors for too long. Hey, Sam, come look at this, she called to her fellow officer. Sam Kelly walked over, his tall frame casting a shadow across her workstation. What have you got, Commander? Not sure, Lisa said, pushing her short brown hair away from her face. The computer can't identify it, but it's definitely not random noise. The signal repeated every 12 minutes. It came from the direction of Tau Ceti, a star system about 12 light-years from Earth. Lisa's heart beat faster as she studied the pattern. After years in deep space, she had learned to recognize the difference between natural radio emissions and constructed messages. This was definitely made by something intelligent. Lisa called Admiral Jack Nelson, the stern-faced leader of their expedition. Within an hour, the bridge of the Intrepid was filled with officers and specialists, all staring at the signal pattern now displayed on the main screen. "Could it be from another Earth ship?" asked Lieutenant Pete Scott, the youngest officer on the bridge. Dr. Alan Morris, the fleet's chief scientist, shook his head. "No Earth vessel has gone that far yet. This is something else." The room fell silent. Humanity had been searching for signs of alien life for centuries. They had found microbes on Mars and simple aquatic creatures beneath the ice of Europa, but never intelligent life. Never something that could build technology and send signals into space. "It's repeating in a mathematical sequence," said Susan Garcia, the ship's communications expert. "That's not an accident. Someone made this." Admiral Nelson crossed his arms. "Is it a greeting, a warning?" Susan worked on the signal for hours using the ship's powerful computers to break down its components. As night shift replaced day shift, she suddenly sat up straight in her chair. "It's a distress call," she announced. The bridge crew gathered around her station. "How can you be sure?" Admiral Nelson asked. "The pattern matches emergency beacon protocols. It's not exactly like ours, but the structure is similar," Susan explained. "Someone out there is asking for help." Admiral Nelson called an emergency meeting of all senior officers. They gathered in the main conference room where Dr. Morris presented his analysis. "The signal contains coordinates," he said, pointing to a series of numbers, "and basic information about who's sending it. They're called the Alluri, at least that's my best guess at pronouncing it." "What do they want?" asked Captain Ben Rogers. "They're under attack," Susan said simply. "Their message describes an invasion force. They're broadcasting on all frequencies, hoping anyone can help them." Admiral Nelson stood up and walked to the window, looking out at the stars. He was 55 years old and had spent 30 years in space. He had seen many things, but nothing like this. "We're 12 light years away," he said. "Even at our best speed, it would take decades to reach them." "There's more," Susan said. "The signal includes instructions for accessing something they call a fold path. Some kind of spatial anomaly that could get us there much faster." "A wormhole?" Dr. Morris asked, his eyes wide. "Maybe something like that." Susan nodded. "They've included navigational data." The room erupted in debate. Some argued they should return to Earth for instructions. Others believed they should proceed immediately to help. "What if it's a trap?" Security Chief Rick Diaz asked. "Luring us in with a fake distress call is the oldest trick in the book." "What if it's not?" Lisa countered. "What if someone really needs our help?" Admiral Nelson listened to the arguments for nearly an hour before raising his hand for silence. "We were sent out here to explore," he said, "to make contact if possible. I think finding a distress signal from an alien civilization qualifies as possible." He turned to Captain Rogers. "Prepare the Intrepid for immediate departure. We'll take 2 escort ships, the Valor and the Guardian. The rest of the fleet will continue the original mission." Within 24 hours, the 3 ships were ready. Lisa stood on the bridge beside Susan, watching the final preparations. The crew was a mix of excited and nervous. No human had ever attempted to use alien technology to travel faster than light. "Do you think we're doing the right thing?" Lisa asked quietly. Susan didn't answer immediately. "I don't know. But I do know that if Earth was in trouble and sent out a call for help, I'd want someone to answer." The ships moved into position, near the coordinates Susan had extracted from the signal. Ahead of them, space looked normal, but the sensors detected unusual energy readings. "All hands, secure for fold path transit," Admiral Nelson announced over the ship-wide system. "We don't know exactly what will happen, so prepare for anything." Lisa felt her stomach tighten as the countdown began. She had volunteered for deep space duty because she wanted to see new things, to go where no human had gone before. Now she was about to get her wish in a way she had never imagined. "Fold path coordinates locked," reported the navigator. "Engaging in 5, 4, 3, 2. 1. The space in front of the ships seemed to ripple, then tear open. Inside was not the blackness of normal space, but a swirling tunnel of blue and purple light. "Forward, half speed," ordered Captain Rogers. The 3 Earth ships moved into the anomaly. Lisa felt a strange sensation as if her body was being gently pulled in all directions at once. The ship's hull creaked around them. "Status report," Admiral Nelson called. "All systems functioning," reported Chief Engineer Fred Parker. Hull integrity at 94% and holding. The journey through the fold path lasted just under 3 hours. When they emerged, they found themselves orbiting a strange star with an unusual purple tint. "Position confirmed," called the navigator. "We're in the Tau Ceti system." On the main view screen, they could see a massive space station surrounded by the wreckage of smaller ships. Around the station, larger vessels with predatory angular designs were positioned in attack formation. "We've got incoming transmissions," Susan announced. 2 different sources. "On screen," ordered Admiral Nelson. The view screen split. On one side was a slender, blue-skinned being with large, expressive eyes. On the other was a creature resembling a mantis with an armored exoskeleton and compound eyes. The blue being spoke first, its voice translated by the ship's computers. "Earth vessels? You came. We didn't think anyone would answer our call." The mantis-like creature chittered angrily. "This conflict is none of your concern, newcomers. Leave now or be destroyed with the rest." Admiral Nelson stepped forward, his face resolute. "I'm Admiral Jack Nelson of the United Earth Space Command. We received a distress call, and we've come to help." "Thank the stars," said the blue being. "I am Ambassador Neary of the Alluri Collective. Please hurry. The Corax will breach our final defenses soon." The mantis, apparently a Corax, made a threatening gesture. "You do not know what you involve yourselves in, Earth creatures. The Alluri are ours to conquer." Admiral Nelson's expression didn't change. "Not anymore, they're not." He signaled to cut the transmission, then turned to his officers. "Battle stations. Let's show these Corax what happens when humans answer a call for help. When Deathworlders answer the call, the stars tremble." Part 3-2. Days after the battle, the USS Intrepid docked with the Alluri space station. The station was enormous, a spinning wheel of metal and glass that housed over 50,000 beings from 6 different species. As the first official human delegation prepared to board, Dr. Morris provided last-minute information to the team. "The station's atmosphere is safe for us to breathe," he explained to Lisa, Susan, Admiral Nelson, and Captain Rogers, "but it might feel a bit thin, like being at high altitude on Earth, and the gravity is set to about 2/3 of what we're used to. So we'll feel lighter," Lisa said. "Like on the Corax ship." Dr. Morris nodded. "Yes, but please try not to jump or move too quickly. What feels normal to us might look very alarming to them." The 4 humans walked through the docking tube and entered the Alluri station. A group of aliens waited for them in a large open room with curved walls and soft lighting. Ambassador Neary stood at the front, flanked by representatives of other species. "Welcome to Harmony Station," she said through a translator device. "We are honored to host the first humans to visit our part of the galaxy." Admiral Nelson stepped forward and bowed slightly. "We're grateful for your welcome, Ambassador. We have much to learn from each other." A tall, thin alien with gray skin and 4 arms moved closer, studying the humans with obvious curiosity. "Is it true?" it asked in a musical voice. "Do you really come from a world with double our gravity, with oxygen levels that would poison most species?" Lisa noticed that the alien kept a respectful distance, as if afraid to get too close. "Earth is different from your worlds," Captain Rogers said carefully. "But it's home to us. What seems harsh to you is normal for humans." Ambassador Neary gestured for the humans to follow. "Please join us in the meeting chamber. The Council wishes to speak with you." They walked through wide corridors filled with aliens of various shapes and sizes. Some looked almost human, while others were completely different from anything on Earth. Lisa noticed they all made way for the humans, stepping back as they passed. "They're afraid of us," she whispered to Susan. Susan nodded. Wouldn't you be? We just defeated ships that have been terrorizing them for months, in a matter of hours. The meeting chamber was a large room with seats arranged in a semicircle. The humans were given places at the center, facing a raised platform where 7 aliens sat. Ambassador Neary joined them on the platform. "Honored representatives of Earth," she began. "The Council of the Alluri Collective wishes to express our deepest gratitude for your intervention. The Corax have withdrawn from our system, and their commander has agreed to a temporary peace." An older alien with skin that shifted colors like an octopus spoke next. "We have accessed your ship's database, with your admiral's permission, to learn about your species. What we have discovered is remarkable." Dr. Morris leaned toward Lisa. "I gave them basic information about Earth and human biology, nothing classified." The color-shifting alien continued. "Your world would be classified as a death world by our standards. The gravity, atmospheric pressure, radiation levels, temperature, extremes and abundance of predators would make Earth uninhabitable for most sentient species." A murmur went through the watching aliens. Lisa felt strangely proud even though the alien was basically saying Earth was a terrible place. "The fact that intelligent life evolved in such conditions is rare," the alien said. "The fact that you developed advanced technology and space travel is even rarer. Most species from such harsh worlds destroy themselves before reaching the stars." Admiral Nelson spoke up. "Earth has certainly had its share of conflicts, but we've learned to work together, to build instead of destroy." Another council member, a small creature with large bat-like ears, leaned forward. "Yet you came ready to fight. Your ships are built for war." "We came ready to defend," Admiral Nelson corrected. "There's a difference. We hope to meet new species as friends, but we understand that the galaxy might not always be friendly." The council members seemed to consider this. Finally, Ambassador Neary spoke again. "We have discussed how to thank you for your help. We would like to offer you the quantum fold technology that brought you here. It would allow your ships to travel between our worlds in days, rather than years." The humans exchanged surprised glances. Such technology would change everything for Earth. "That's very generous," Admiral Nelson said carefully. "But what would you want in return?" The council members looked at each other before the color-shifting alien answered. "Protection. The Corax will return, perhaps with a larger fleet. There are other aggressive species in our part of the galaxy as well. The Alluri Collective consists of peaceful worlds. We are scientists, artists, explorers, but not warriors." Lisa understood now. "You want an alliance. Earth protects your worlds, and we get the fold technology." "Yes," Ambassador Neary confirmed, "but more than that. We want to learn from you how your people survived such harsh conditions, how you became so resilient." The meeting continued for hours as they discussed the details of a potential alliance. When they finally returned to the Intrepid, Lisa felt overwhelmed by what had happened. "We came looking for new life," she said to Susan as they walked to their quarters. "Instead, we found a whole civilization that thinks we're some kind of super beings." Susan smiled. "Isn't it ironic? Humans have always worried that aliens would be more advanced, more intelligent, more evolved. But it turns out we're the scary ones." The next day, a group of Alluri scientists came aboard the Intrepid to begin teaching the humans about the fold technology. They wore special breathing masks to filter out some of the oxygen and moved carefully in the Earth normal gravity. Dr. K. White, the ship's medical officer, invited the aliens to the medical bay to share information about their respective biologies. Lisa joined them, curious to learn more. "Your immune system is fascinating," one Alluri scientist said, looking at human medical scans. "It actively attacks foreign bodies. Ours is more passive, focused on prevention rather than combat." Dr. White nodded. "Earth is full of bacteria, viruses, and parasites. We evolved to fight them constantly." "And your skeleton," another alien added, pointing to an X-ray. "The density is remarkable, designed to support your muscles under high gravity." Lisa watched as the aliens continued to examine human medical data with a mixture of fear and admiration. She realized that in their eyes, humans were the aliens. from a nightmare world. Creatures who breathed poison, had bones like metal, and fought off microscopic invaders inside their bodies every day. Yet here they were, talking and learning from each other, finding common ground despite their differences. As the day ended, Admiral Nelson called Lisa to his office. "Commander Warren, I'm sending you and Lieutenant Garcia back to Earth on the Guardian. You'll carry our report about the Aeluri and the proposed alliance." Lisa felt her heart race. "Earth needs to know what we've found here, sir." Admiral Nelson nodded. "Yes, but they also need to understand what we've become in the eyes of the galaxy. When humans answer a call for help, it means something different now." The Guardian departed 2 days later, carrying Lisa, Susan, and news that would change humanity's view of themselves forever. As they entered the fold path back to Earth, Lisa wondered what would happen when humanity fully stepped onto the galactic stage. One thing seemed certain. The stars were trembling. When Deathworlders answer the call, the stars tremble. Part 4. The journey back to Earth took 4 days using the fold path. Lisa spent most of that time preparing her report. How could she explain to Earth's leaders what they had discovered? That humans were considered biological marvels by galactic standards? That species across the stars might view them with a mixture of fear and awe? "It's like finding out you're the monster under the bed," Susan said as they shared a meal in the Guardian's small dining area. Only the monster turns out to be the hero. When they arrived in Earth orbit, a welcoming committee was waiting. The news that humans had made contact with not one but multiple alien species had spread quickly. The Guardian docked with Earth Station 1, and Lisa and Susan were escorted to a conference room where the United Earth Council waited. President Olivia Clark, a tall woman with silver hair, stood as they entered. "Commander Warren, Lieutenant Garcia, welcome home. Your preliminary reports have caused quite a stir." "Madam President," Lisa nodded respectfully. "It's good to be back." "Please tell us everything," the President said. "We want to hear about these aliens firsthand." For the next 2 hours, Lisa and Susan described their encounters with the Aeluri and the Corax. They explained the biological differences, the technological exchange being proposed, and the potential alliance. "So they want our protection," said General Paul Brown, head of Earth's Defense Forces. "Because we're physically stronger than they are." "It's more than that, sir," Lisa explained. "Our entire biology is different. We evolved on a world that would kill most of them in minutes. To them, we're like, well, superhumans." Secretary of Science Mary Patel leaned forward. "And this fold technology, you're saying it could reduce interstellar travel time from decades to days?" Susan nodded. "Yes, ma'am. The Aeluri have been using it for centuries. They're willing to teach us how to build and use it. In exchange for military protection," General Brown added, "which means sending our ships and people far from Earth." President Clark stood and walked to the window, looking out at the curve of Earth below. "We've dreamed of meeting other intelligent life for so long. We always imagined they'd be far ahead of us, that we'd be the primitive ones. That's not how it turned out," Lisa said. "At least not with these species." The President turned back to face them. "What do you recommend, Commander Warren? You've met these aliens. You've seen their worlds. Should we form this alliance?" Lisa didn't hesitate. "Yes, Madam President. The Aeluri are peaceful. They have art, science, and technology we can learn from, and they need our help." After the meeting, Lisa was given 2 weeks of leave. She went home to see her parents in Arizona. The desert felt different now after seeing alien worlds. She looked at the cacti and rocky landscape with new eyes, realizing how uniquely Earth it all was. On her 3rd day home, she received an urgent message. The Guardian was being prepared for another journey through the fold path, and she was needed back in orbit immediately. When she returned to Earth Station 1, she found Susan waiting for her. "What's happened?" Lisa asked. Susan's face was grave. "The Corax. They've returned to the Aeluri system with a larger fleet. The Intrepid is holding them off, but Admiral Nelson has requested reinforcements." General Brown met them in the briefing room. Maps of the Aeluri system floated on holographic displays, showing the positions of Earth ships and Corax vessels. The President has authorized a response force, he told them. 5 ships, including the Guardian. You two will be joining them as advisors, since you've had direct contact with both species. How bad is it, sir? Lisa asked. The Corax brought 15 ships this time, the general replied. They're determined to take the Alluri station and its technology. Admiral Nelson has been using guerrilla tactics, striking fast and retreating, but he's outnumbered. The Guardian and 4 other Earth ships departed the next day. Each vessel carried a mix of military personnel and scientific experts. Earth was sending its best, determined to honor its new alliance. Lisa stood on the bridge of the Guardian as they entered the fold path. Captain Max Rivera, the ship's commander, seemed nervous. This is my first time through one of these things, he admitted. Is it safe? Safe enough, Lisa assured him. Just expect to feel a bit strange during transit, like your body is being pulled in different directions at once. When they emerged in the Alluri system 4 days later, they found a battle in progress. 2 Corax ships were pursuing the Intrepid, firing energy weapons that mostly glanced off its shields. Open a channel to Admiral Nelson, Captain Rivera ordered. Admiral Nelson's face appeared on the main screen. He looked tired, but smiled when he saw Lisa. Commander Warren, Lieutenant Garcia, welcome back to the party. Looks like you could use some help, sir, Lisa replied. More than you know, Nelson said. The Corax have brought their best ships this time, and they've adapted their weapons to be more effective against our shields. Captain Rivera leaned into view. We're ready to assist, Admiral. The President sends her regards and says to tell you that Earth stands with its allies. The Earth ships spread out and began coordinated attacks on the Corax fleet. The battle lasted for hours with both sides taking damage. Lisa worked at the tactical station, helping coordinate between ships that had never fought together before. During a lull in the fighting, a signal came in from the Alluri station. Ambassador Neri's face appeared on screen. Earth friends, she said, her large eyes blinking rapidly in what Lisa now recognized as distress. We have troubling news. Our long-range sensors have detected more Corax ships approaching. Many more. Admiral Nelson frowned. How many, Ambassador? At least 30 vessels, she replied. They will arrive within 2 days. The news sent a ripple of concern through the Earth fleet. Even with their superior durability, they couldn't fight so many ships at once. We need a new strategy, Nelson said during an emergency meeting of all ship captains. We can't win a direct confrontation against that many vessels. Lisa had been thinking about the Corax, about how they had reacted during the boarding of View, their flagship. Sir, she said, I have an idea. The Corax are afraid of us, not just our ships, but us. They've never encountered a species that can function in their environment the way we can. What are you suggesting, Commander? Nelson asked. A different kind of boarding action, Lisa explained. Not just one ship, but all of them. Small teams, entering their vessels and taking control from within. The captains looked skeptical. Susan backed her up. It could work, she said. We've seen how they react to humans in person. They're not prepared for close combat with us. Admiral Nelson considered the idea. It's risky, he admitted, but it might be our best option. We'll need volunteers. By the end of the day, teams were being assembled from all 6 Earth ships. The best Marines, engineers, and tactical officers. Lisa and Susan would lead one of the teams. As she prepared her equipment, Lisa thought about how strange it all was. Humans had gone to the stars hoping to find friends. Instead, they had found beings who needed their protection, who looked at them with wonder and fear. The stars were indeed trembling, but not from fear of aliens coming to Earth, from the realization that the Deathworlders were coming to them. When Deathworlders answer the call, the stars tremble. Part 5. 2 days passed as the Earth forces prepared for the arrival of the Corax reinforcements. Lisa and Susan reviewed everything they had learned about the alien ships from their previous boarding mission. Their internal security is designed to stop beings with their physical capabilities, Lisa explained to the assembled teams. They don't expect anyone to be able to move quickly in their lower gravity or to withstand their atmospheric conditions. The Earth ships positioned themselves behind one of the system's outer planets, using its mass to hide from Korax sensors. The Aeluri station had been evacuated, with most of its inhabitants moved to the relative safety of their homeworld. Admiral Nelson addressed all the boarding teams from the Intrepid. Our mission is simple but dangerous. Each team will target one Korax command ship. Your objective is to reach their bridge and force a surrender. If we can take control of their fleet leaders, the rest may withdraw. The Admiral paused, looking at the men and women who had volunteered. What we're attempting has never been done before. 30 simultaneous boarding actions against a hostile alien fleet. But remember, they fear you. Not just our weapons or our ships, but you. The very biology that makes you human gives you advantages they cannot counter. Just before they departed, Ambassador Neary visited the Intrepid to wish them luck. She looked at the assembled humans with an expression of wonder. When we sent our distress call into the stars, she said softly, we never dreamed it would be answered by beings like you. Beings from a world that would kill most species in the galaxy. Yet here you are, risking your lives for people you barely know. Lisa listened as the ambassador continued. There is a very old story among the Aeluri. It tells of guardian spirits who would one day come from the harshest regions of space to protect the peaceful worlds. We thought it was just a children's tale. Now I wonder if our ancestors somehow knew you would come. The Korax fleet arrived exactly when expected. 30 ships moving toward the Aeluri homeworld in attack formation. They didn't detect the Earth vessels until it was too late. As the Korax ships passed the outer planet, the Earth fleet emerged, each launching multiple small, fast shuttles. Lisa and Susan's team targeted the second-largest Korax vessel. Their shuttle pilot, a young woman named Zoe Riley, guided them expertly through enemy fire. Hold on, Zoe called as she made a sharp turn to avoid an energy beam. This is going to be close. The shuttle slammed against the hull of the Korax ship. Special cutting tools created an entrance and the team of 6 moved inside. The interior was similar to the first Korax ship Lisa had boarded, but larger. The lower gravity made movement easier for the humans, allowing them to cover ground quickly. Remember, Lisa told her team as they moved through the corridors. Stun weapons at maximum power. We want to disable, not kill. They encountered resistance, almost immediately. A group of Korax soldiers fired at them from the end of a long corridor. The team took cover behind support columns. They've improved their tactics, Susan noted. They're keeping their distance using the length of the corridor against us. Lisa studied the situation. We need to show them why that won't work. Joe, Kelly, give me covering fire. 2 Marines began firing stun pulses down the corridor, forcing the Korax to duck behind their own cover. Lisa took a deep breath and sprinted forward at full speed. In the lower gravity, she moved faster than she ever could on Earth, covering the length of the corridor in seconds. She heard the chittering sounds of alarm from the Korax as she reached them. Their compound eyes couldn't track her speed. Fired her stun weapon at point-blank range, taking down 3 aliens before they could react. The rest of her team followed, quickly overwhelming the remaining defenders. They're broadcasting warnings throughout the ship, Susan said, checking a captured communication device, telling everyone to avoid direct contact with us. Good, Lisa replied. That means they're scared. Let's keep moving. The team fought their way up through the ship, level by level. The Korax tried various tactics, gas that would be lethal to their own kind but merely made the humans cough, gravity fluctuations that the humans' sturdy bones could withstand, even sections of corridor with near-vacuum conditions that the humans' suits protected them from. Nothing stopped them. The advantages that Earth's harsh conditions had built into human biology made them nearly unstoppable in the alien environment. Finally, they reached the ship's bridge. The doors were sealed, but engineer Pat Miller quickly bypassed the security systems. The doors slid open to reveal the Korax command crew, including their fleet admiral, a larger version of the mantis-like aliens, with more elaborate armor, the Owl. Admiral rose from its command chair, standing nearly 8 feet tall. So the rumors are true, it said through a translator. The Deathworlders have joined the Aeluri. Lisa stepped forward, stun weapon raised. Surrender your ship and order your fleet to withdraw. This fight is over. The Corax Admiral's mandibles clicked rapidly. You think because you can board one ship you have won? My fleet will destroy you. Not one ship, Lisa corrected. All of your command ships. Right now, humans are taking control of every leader vessel in your fleet. Look at your own tactical displays if you don't believe me. The Corax turned to check its screens, mandibles clicking faster in what Lisa now recognized as alarm. The displays showed similar boarding actions happening across the fleet. Nearly half the Corax ships were reporting internal fighting. What are you? The Admiral asked, lowering its weapon slightly. We're humans, Lisa answered simply. We come from a world that forged us through fire and gravity and radiation. We breathe oxygen that would poison you. We live under pressure that would crush you. And we're telling you to stand down. Hours later, Lisa stood with Susan, Admiral Nelson, and Captain Rivera as they accepted the formal surrender of the Corax fleet. The alien admiral signed an agreement to leave Aeluri space permanently and to recognize the alliance between Earth and the Aeluri Collective. As the Corax ships departed, Lisa watched them go from the observation deck of the Intrepid. Do you think they'll honor the agreement? Susan asked, joining her at the window. I think they will, Lisa nodded. They've seen what humans can do, what we're willing to do for our allies. Admiral Nelson called all ship's crews together for an address after the battle. His face appeared on screens throughout the Earth fleet. Today marks a new chapter for humanity, he said. For centuries we looked up at the stars and wondered if we were alone. We wondered what our place would be in a galaxy of other intelligent beings. Now we know. He paused, looking at the camera steadily. We are protectors. We are guardians. The very world that shaped us, that made us tough and resilient and determined, has given us the ability to defend those who cannot defend themselves. 6 months later, Lisa stood on the bridge of her own ship, the newly commissioned USS Defender. Earth had built an entire fleet of ships designed for the defense of their alien allies. The Aeluri had shared not only their fold-path technology but other scientific advances as well. In return, humans had spread throughout nearby systems, establishing bases and training centers. They taught willing Aeluri defensive tactics while learning about alien science and culture. Lisa's first mission as captain was to lead a diplomatic team to a new alien civilization that had heard of the Deathworlders and wished to establish contact. As her ship prepared to enter the fold path, she thought about how much had changed since that first distress signal. Humanity had found its place among the stars, not as conquerors, but as defenders, not feared as monsters, but respected as guardians. And when Deathworlders answered the call, the stars no longer trembled in fear. They trembled with hope.